Hey friend, I'm really glad you're here. Welcome to Faithful Fridays, a space for slowing down, letting the Word guide us, and learning how to live with purpose through faithfulness, not perfection. Here, obedience is honest. Faithfulness shows up even when it's hard. There's no pressure, no pretending, just truth, grace, and obedience, one faithful step at a time. In this season, we're learning what faithfulness looks like while we wait. So wherever you're listening from and wherever you are with God right now, take a breath and let's talk. This week, we're in the book with a woman named Hannah. Her story is found in 1 Samuel chapters 1 and 2. Hannah was married, and scripture tells us she deeply desired a child, but she was unable to conceive. Year after year, she went with her family to worship God, and year after year, nothing changed. But Hannah's pain wasn't private. She wasn't the only wife in her marriage. She had what we would call a sister wife, another wife of the same husband, and her name was Peninnah. Peninnah had children, and Hannah did not. And instead of showing Hannah compassion, Peninnah provoked Hannah, not once, not quietly, but again and again. So Hannah wasn't just waiting in silence. She was waiting while being reminded, in her own home, of the very thing that she prayed for. Her waiting happened in comparison. It happened in humiliation. And it happened somewhere she couldn't escape. And that's important to say too, that Hannah was loved by her husband. Scripture tells us he cared deeply for her. He tried to comfort her. He tried to reassure her. But having a loving husband doesn't always feel every ache a woman carries. And I say that carefully. I have a loving husband. I know that man would do anything and everything that he can for me. But I also know this. There are places in my heart that no human love can fully reach. That doesn't mean that my husband isn't enough. It just means that God is the only one who can completely and wholly give me what I truly need. And that's where Hannah was. Loved, but still longing. Supported, but still aching. Scripture tells us that in her distress, Hannah prayed so deeply before the Lord that her lips moved, but her voice was not heard. She poured out her heart before God and made a vow that if the Lord gave her a son, she would give him back to him. And after years of waiting, God answered her prayer. Hannah conceived and gave birth to a son named Samuel. And when the time came, Hannah kept her word and gave her son back to God, just as she promised. Now, what stands out about Hannah to me isn't just that she waited for God to answer her prayer, it's how she waited. Because scripture never tells us exactly how long she waited. It doesn't really give us a number. It just simply says that she waited for years. And that matters because years means that her faithfulness more than likely was tested over time. We don't know if it was 2 years or 5 or 10 or more, but we do know this. She kept showing up, she kept praying, and she kept trusting God through a long season of waiting. And if we're being honest with ourselves, like really honest, when we want something so badly, and it doesn't even have to be a child, it can be anything, how long are we willing to wait? Faithfully. How long are we willing to faithfully wait? A week? A month? 8 months? Even that can feel like a lifetime. But Hannah waited for years. Her waiting wasn't passive, it was faithful. Faithful waiting doesn't mean that life stops. She kept praying. She kept worshiping. She kept going to the house of God. And watching Hannah wait like that reminds me of something simple but important. Waiting with God means we're still walking with Him. And the same is true for us. Our faithfulness is seen in staying obedient to God even when we wait for Him to answer. All of Scripture ultimately leads us to Jesus Christ. He waited, he trusted the Father completely, and he obeyed, even when obedience was costly. Waiting didn't weaken him, it fulfilled God's purpose. So if you're waiting right now, waiting for direction, for provision, for healing, or simply waiting for some peace, I want you to hear this clearly. You are not forgotten. You are not behind, and your waiting matters to God. Not because it's easy, but because obedience matters. And obedience lived out over time looks like consistency. And that's what faithfulness really looks like. So if you've stumbled, if you feel tired, or even if you've fallen, get back up and keep going. That's all for today, friend. And Lord willing, I'll be here faithfully next Friday with another walk through scriptures with someone who waited in hope.